I'm joining you from Toronto, and I work as a data scientist at a tech giant Cisco. I hold MAC degree in artificial intelligence and machine learning. My area of expertise is in natural language processing. I graduated from the University of Waterloo, and I have been working with Great Learning as a mentor from 1 year. And it's been an amazing experience so far. And my job primarily consists of performing data science stuff, good projects in Cisco. I'm a major contributor of the Cisco bot. If you go to the Cisco website and you see the bot, so I've been contributing majorly there. And I'll also create end-to-end data pipelines. So mostly data engineering, data science, and data analysis as well, which is very important. Being a data scientist, you primarily do all of them. So it sounds like straight something out of a science fiction movie, but it's just a smart AI model which is trained on billions of parameter on large data set, on massive data set, on World Wide Web to be more precise. So it's not something magic. It's an AI model. It was trained on massive data set. So we can think it as our personal genie. And we can think that it has got some wish granting capabilities, right? So currently it is the most trending AI model. And you can see here the point state of the art language model. So this is one of the best models so far, which was trained on billions of parameters. And to be more importantly, to mention, it was developed by OpenAI. It is a cutting-edge AI research organization. Before ChatGPT, OpenAI gave like so many other models. Like GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, 3.5, etc. Now I think after ChatGPT, GPT-4 also came. I saw recently last week. So every model which OpenAI is giving out is exclusive and more, more improvised of the previous version. So the technology is just booming day by day, right? And ChatGPT is another variant of GPT series of models from OpenAI. All right. Yeah. And to talk about the basics, first thing we need to know about artificial intelligence, followed by what is machine learning, and finally the deep learning, where this trending topic ChatGPT falls under. To understand about artificial intelligence, it's artificial intelligence. Name itself tells, right? It is a machine that mimics the human intelligence and behavior. So just like how we human beings are behaving, we are just programming a machine. We are creating an algorithm, making it learn, and then try to behave just like us. And machine learning is a subset inside artificial intelligence that automatically learns from the data with respect to a particular task and performance measure. So we feed in the data to the model which we are going to create. And the moment we feed in the data, the machine is going to learn by itself by finding the hidden patterns. That is the most interesting part. And it gets trained by itself. We do not need to tell like, okay, given this data, you need to find hidden patterns in such a way. No, we just feed in the data. It finds the hidden patterns by itself. And you use it for some specific task. So based on the training, it omits us some output, right? It gives us the best performance. And finally, there is this topic called as deep learning, which is a massive advancement, because of which we have all this, state of the art models that have come up these days. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and it happens via neural networks. It was inspired by our human brain. Our human brain consists of lots of neurons and neural networks, and machine learning like just got inspired by it, and it's like artificial neural networks, right? We can create our own neural network model with lots of layers, lots of neurons, whatnot, right? And so ChatGPT falls under deep learning, and it is a state-of-the-art deep learning chatbot that uses generative AI. Then let's quickly go through the applications of ChatGPT and what we can use it for and daily uses. Starting from text summarization, you give a big chunk of paragraph or you give a big research paper to it, and you're a person who do not have patience to know about it. So you just feed in the data or complete paragraph or the complete research paper to ChatGPT, and it can give you the summary of what the research paper is talking about. It can give you a summary of what the story is about. And it has a capability to create content, do marketing research. More importantly, as a software engineer, I use ChatGPT for code debugging, right? If I'm coming across some error in my daily work, I simply take the error, and if you paste it in ChatGPT query or the prompt space, it will 99.9% or 100% it's going to give me the right way I can fix the error. Okay. And also, ChatGPT can do language translation. It can do sentiment analysis, which means you give a query or you give a sentence. It's going to tell whether it's a positive sentence or it's a negative sentence or neutral sentence, so based upon your requirement. And it also has the capability to create content for education or training, and it's also used for application development and whatnot. There are so many other interesting features which ChatGPT does as well. Team who actually created ChatGPT because of this hype and our usage of it in daily basis. So as I mentioned in the earlier slides, ChatGPT was introduced by OpenAI. It is a AI research organization which has got so much of popularity recently, and they aim to promote and develop friendly AI in a way that benefits humanity. And OpenAI played the role of both developer and the trainer of the ChatGPT model using vast amount of text scrapped from the web. This is very important because if you see today, ChatGPT is working with this much of brilliance because of the amount of data OpenAI has used to train it and the billions of parameters it has used to train it. And coming to this more important point, if you have to train a machine learning model with that massive amount of data, with so many parameters, you cannot do it in your local systems or any amount of GPUs. We need supercomputers, and that's why the tech giant Microsoft came into play. Microsoft, they signed up a partnership with OpenAI to provide Azure supercomputing service exclusively for OpenAI to train the language models, the large language models, LLMs, and become OpenAI's preferred partner to commercialize new technologies. Sounds interesting, right? So Microsoft, once it has started providing the supercomputers, OpenAI was able to utilize all the information, scrap out all the data from the World Wide Web, train their model, and hence Microsoft started integrating the ChatGPT-like technology into its Bing search engine. I hope, just like how Google, Yahoo, there is a search engine called as Bing, which many of you would have been familiar about, and eventually plans to add it to its Azure cloud platform and Office products for consumer worldwide. So this is like two big companies have come into play together to develop this application, which we are all using on daily basis. So basically, it's like breakup of 4 different terms. The first term being the chat itself, right? Just like how I'm going to talk to you and you're going to respond to me back, we are just chatting. AI got inspired by it, and there came this conversational chat interface where if me as a user ask a question to the model is going to reply back to me, right? So it's a conversational chat interface that allows the user to ask questions and interact with the model in a to and fro manner. That's what chatbots are. It's one of the applications. Conversational AI interfaces and chatbots motivating application of AI for various business use cases. So that is what the chat means. And here comes the next term, GPT. G here stands for the term generator. As I mentioned before, it is auto-generative. No one is going to sit there and going to write down give the training data and feeding into the model, like giving the fixed sentences which needs to be omitted to the user as the answers. It's generating by itself. So generative is a class of deep learning and artificial intelligence models that are trained to generate data modalities in a manner similar to humans. such as text, audio, video, etc. So behind the radar, I think you guys would have come across this popular post where a user is just going to type some text and the video is going to be auto-generated or a picture is going to be auto-generated, right? So that is all about generative S. And next is pre-training. Pre-training. So pre-training is a type of technique used for AI models where a model may be trained from scratch on large initial set of data. And this pre-trained model is then further fine-tuned and customized for a different specific task. For example, let me give you a quick example. For example, ChatGPT. It's pre-trained on millions of data text from World Wide Web, as I mentioned before. And this pre-trained model, you can extract the model, you can use the model, fine-tune it with your custom data set, and then use it for your customized tasks. So this is what it's pre-trained means. And finally, transformer. Transformer is a very popular term when we start talking about deep learning itself. And transformer, it is a new class of deep learning models based on the ideas of attention and self-attention. These are the two terms that will come under attention and self-attention. So with text, transformers tend to understand the relationship of one word with all the other words in a sentence. So given a sentence, the transformer automatically understands by capturing one word, it has the capability to understand what the next word is actually talking about, or it also has the capability to predict the next word. All right. So I hope you guys would have come across BERT, bidirectional encoder for transformers. BERT is the first. So there are these 4 pictures on our right hand side here. All the pictures are appearing to be very true to me, and I hope it's appearing same as well to you. But then all these pictures are fake. They are not real. They are not like real humans on this planet. They are all generated by AI. Okay, so that's the power of generative AI. So you can specify what type of face you want. Like you can specify what features you want. So AI will omit you or generate you that respective image given a query. So the key innovation behind this generative AI's technology is GNNs, Generative Adversarial Networks, which was invented in the year 2014. And there have been a massive advancements in GNNs from 2014 till today. So every advancement is like superior to the previous one, obviously. And it's still research is going on daily basis. Next is about one fun example about generative AI. As you can see, this is going to be the query. You have a generative AI, for example, DAL-E2. It is a machine learning model generated by OpenAI. It is a state-of-the-art image-related generative AI model. All right, you can actually go to Google and try DAL-E2. You can play with it. So given a query like this is an example here, teddy bears mixing sparkling chemicals as mad scientists in 1990s Saturday morning cartoon. So the moment you give a query like this in DALL-E 2 or any generative AI model, you're going to get an image which is similar to your text, as you can see on the right-hand side. How nice it is, right? So this generative AI is capable of generating image relating to any such input prompt. And the quality of the output, which is very important, which is generated by this large language models, by this large models, right? And the speed at which they are able to do it has fueled the rise of generative AI. Since because we are giving a custom input does not mean it's going to take a lot of time to, build the information and then generate and give it to us. No, it happens in fraction of seconds. That's why I'm saying after this webinar or parallelly, you guys can go and play with DALL-E 2 or any other AI, image related AI model now and see how it works. Everyone would be familiar with the advancements in the hardware, improved algorithms, abundant data, and multitude of applications, right? Because every day with the increased development in the applications or increased in the development of the machine learning models, there has been a massive increase in the computer power also. Computing power is also increasing. So with this increase in the computing power, it's possible to train ever larger and more complex generative AI models. You cannot simply train your model on your local machine. You need massive computing power that's required to train the complex generative AI models that gives the best accuracy, right? And next is the improved algorithms. Developments in deep learning algorithm research, such as GAN, as we have discussed earlier, it's generative adversarial networks, this part, which is giving us the best, best outputs like this related to images. And stable diffusion and transformer based models have even enabled more accurate and diverse outputs. So there has been some improvements or the other on daily basis. People have been constantly working towards it. And the third part is the abundant data. With all of this improvement and the technology daily, you see, I mean, we all are seeing that there has been a massive growth in data. There has been an explosive growth of the internet, and the quality and the quantity of the data freely available on the web have provided all the training data needed for generative AI, right? And finally, a multitude of applications. Generative AI is being used to automate a wide range of processes across industry verticals such as synthetic protein creation, image generation, programming copilots, and chatbots. We guys would have come across all these 4 applications, and all of them are widely used these days with the help of generative AI and its advancements. You create a model and you're training it initially on a massive amount of data, that is pre-training. And when you use that model, which has already been trained for your specific task, that is called as fine tuning. That is what this image is clearly depicting. So pre-training is a technique which is used where the model already trained on large volumes of data is to transfer their knowledge to a more specific task, which may not have luxury of large data sets for the model to train on. So not all of us will have high computing power on a daily basis or even in our work life, right? So large generic corpus of data is being trained on a pre-trained language model, for example, GPT 3.5. And then that model is then trained with a specific small data with respect to the task you need to do. And then that is called as fine tuning. And you can use, after you fine tune the model with your related data set for that specific task, you can use it going forward. So this is what pre-training and fine tuning does. Transformers is a cutting edge deep learning model primarily used for tasks in natural language processing, based on the idea of self-attention, which allows every word to compute its relationship with every other word in a sentence. For example, let's come to the figure on the right-hand side. There is a sentence or a query text that's given to the model or the transformer. Like Leonard and Penny were best friends until she started hating him. This is the input. The moment you feed in the text, transformers have the capability to understand the relationship between the words. So the moment the Leonard and Penny, it means that they both are friends. And then it sees that, and the transformer also identifies that Leonard as him and Penny as she. Okay. And you see here, friends until. The moment it has seen the 2 words together, friends until together, the transformer identifies the relationship to be hating, as those 2 words are closely related to hate. Friends until hate. Like, so similar words have similar embeddings is what I would say. So it has the capability to identify the relationship between the words of a given input sentence. And more importantly, how does transformer do this? With the help of 2 major blocks called as encoder and decoder. So ChatGPT came from GPT 3.5. So GPT 3.5 is again a model by OpenAI. It is recent. It was just before ChatGPT. So it is one of the largest language models, which was trained on the entire corpus of text to data present on the internet, consisting of billions of web pages. So once this model was pre-trained, it was ultimately fine-tuned on a smaller question and answers dataset to convert questions to answers. And this was the base of how ChatGPT was created. All right. So given a question to ChatGPT, it passes through the encoder. This encoder converts the given textual data into embeddings, which are made up of numbers, and it finds out the answer from the database. And then through decoder, it will give back the answer. And as you can see from the figure below, the model asks for the user feedback. And I see that most of us will be giving feedback to OpenAI then and now. So based on the user's feedback, the feedback gets propagated back and it is used as an improvement and helps the model to get itself fine-tuned to get the best set of weights for the network. Prompt engineering is the process of designing and crafting the prompts for conversational AI interfaces and generative AI models in order to get the close possible to extract output desired. This is very, very important. For example, we are using ChatGPT or, for example, Google. If you give if you do not type your prompt correctly, you will not get the right answer. You might not get the right answer. So better the prompt you input to the AI, the better the output you're going to be getting. So there are some elements of what a well-crafted prompt looks like. One being the context, the second one being the task description, the third one being the role play. So coming to the context, if you specify your how your output needs to be and specify the context, the better the model is going to understand and the more relevant your output is going to look like. For example, here you can see in the slide, in the context of dating show, come up with a hilarious pickup line. So based on this dating show, the AI model is going to generate you some output text. Just imagine that you're just going, you have it in your mind that you want something related to dating show and you wanted a hilarious pickup line. And if you just type in or query or give the prompt like, hey, ChatGPT, can you please come up with a hilarious pickup line? And it's going to give you some unrelevant context, which you actually do not want. So be specific. And next is task description. One example here is, give me a short story about a young boy who discovers a mysterious object in his backyard. So you're describing it more better. The better you describe, better it's going to understand, and better the text is going to be generated to us the users. And finally, the role play. Imagine you are a tech support representative and a customer calls to say their Wi-Fi is not working, what your response would be. So you have to, like, if you want to reply to someone, I think many of us are using ChatGPT for this. We want to reply to someone or write a letter to someone. Then we need to specify the role of who you are, to whom you need to write. Be more specific. Clearly mention about the context, task description, and the roles of you and the other person, and then it's going to generate it accordingly. So better your prompts are. What is ChatGPT good for? It is good for too many things, but few of the points we could come up for today's slide is code generation for known problems, creative writing, text summarization, idea generation, etc., etc., etc. Fun. There is a fun image on the right hand side, like write a rap about a webinar that covers how ChatGPT works and its advantages and limits. Make sure to mention that ChatGPT is indifferent to truth and doesn't understand calculus. So it's fun to see how ChatGPT has generated a rap type text based on the prompt which we have given to it, right? So, and what's important to remember about it? Very importantly, it is indifferent to the truth. Your prompt obliges ChatGPT to complete the sequences. And more importantly, it doesn't understand the math. You cannot go to ChatGPT and you cannot give your 12th standard question as your problem, like about calculus and differential calculus, etc. And you cannot expect it to perform exceptional. And it needs to be fine-tuned to the work with internal knowledge bases, which means like if you are more towards medical domain, let's take you out towards medical domain, And it's not fine-tuned to the medical related task. It has been generalized, trained on World Wide Web text. So it needs fine-tuning. So based on your requirement, you can fine-tune ChatGPT or any model based on your task specific criteria. And very importantly, this cannot be done so easily. You need massive supercomputers, and it's computationally expensive to train and even to fine-tune. So keep that in mind. And what's next? What's coming next? I'm saying ChatGPT, like last week, there has been GPT-4, which is private. I think it's not given to the public yet. It's a more advanced improvement to ChatGPT. So bigger models are coming on daily basis, trained on larger chunks of text and other data modalities like audio, images, video, which are also abundant in today's life. There has been a specialized versions fine-tuned on internal knowledge basis, for example, product documentation, internal wiki pages, medical publications, etc. For example, I hope many of you would have been familiar with BERT, this transformer-based architecture. BERT was so popular few years ago. And based on BERT, they came up like BioBERT, which is BERT, which was fine-tuned exclusively on medical data. So it was for biomedical data. So likewise, specialized versions for GPT models will be coming also in the future based on the requirement or the knowledge basis. And integration of ChatGPT like models into an increasing number of applications across a wide range of fields and industries. And finally, ChatGPT rivals from other big technology firms. So because OpenAI came up with this, other tech giants are not going to be quiet. They are going to be competing with OpenAI's ChatGPT model with more AI generative AI models.